pessoal, tudo bem com vocês? Então, eu sou a Fernanda Bulhões, but today we're going to be talking in English. That's right. So, I'm here. My name is Fernanda Bulhões, and I'm here with one more episode of our Inspiring People interviews. So, I brought to you a very special person. Silvana Rossini is a life coach. She lives in Connecticut, but she is from Brazil. And she is my life coach. And because she has helped me so much, I wanted to share my experience through her eyes. And she's going to tell you all about and how she became a life coach, what is life, what is the experience of connecting with people. And then that's why she has inspired me so much for so many years. Hi, Silvana. Welcome.
Hi, Faye. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you with us. So, as I always start my interviews, I want people to get to know you a little bit. So, I want you to just talk about a little bit of your background, where you're coming from, and but I want all the way back. I want you to tell me about a little bit of your childhood, so people get to know you completely.
Wow. So that's a long story. But if you don't have your water or your tea or your coffee, please get one so we can have this tea time together. So I grew up in Brazil. When I was in my childhood, we used to live in a farm. I am family of 8 siblings, big family, and we lived together with my parents. Um, my whole family is still living in Brazil. My background was since I was a child, I always felt like helping people some way. I just didn't know how. And I just had all dreams, a lot of dreams of what I'm gonna do when I grew up. But of course, as a child, you have no idea, you just have dreams. And life took me to the business field of um, technology, in the technology field for kind of, I would say, about 18 years was my life in this field. I work in technology. And I had my first marriage where I have my beautiful daughter, Gabby. So now she's 23 years old. And then life, had their way of teaching us lessons. And I'm so grateful for most of the lessons I have. And one was um, my first husband. He passed away when I was 26 years old, and my daughter was 1 year and 9 months old. We had such a hard time, as a young mom. And I mean, was a huge experience, which brought me a lot and lots of learning and connected me profoundly to the spiritual world. And I think that's exactly where my real journey began 21 years ago.
And it was a very challenging for you. I mean, like you said, you were a young mom, just a widow with a small child. How challenging was for you all this process?
Was very challenging. I was already living, my family always lived in the countryside of Sao Paulo, in a small town. And I was living in Sao Paulo with my daughter. So it was, me and her. And I just, I had such a clear message that I know. I was always with God. I always believed deeply in God, not in a terms of religion, but in this very higher source, this energy. And I was always connected to God. And I remember when I was facing this challenge, I had a clear message that really, I think, was kind of my mantra, I would say, that, okay, before we were three, now we are two. That's it. No, lives keep going. And I believed so deeply that God is good. And and my question was, if he is good as I feel he is, what's happening to me is not bad. So there's something there for me to learn. Of course, it's easy for me to say now, but even I had this thought past back then was hard, going through the process. But deep inside, I didn't have that, that negativity of blaming. Oh, why me? What does it happen to me? I don't have luck in my life. No, I said, well, life brought this to me, and what can I do? The saying that people say, when you have lemon, make a lemonade. So that's what I did. So let's go forward with life. And yeah, it was a few years of hard time, but I overcame. And my daughter grew up with me. And then 7 years later, life was very good to me again and gave me the most wonderful person I ever um, known in my life. That it's my present husband. He is everything. He is my friend. He's my partner. He's really a father for my two girls. Even Gabby, in that time, he just received her with such an open heart. And yeah, he came and completed our life. And I'm so grateful for the support he gave me. And we are 14 years together now.
Very nice. So, looking back a little bit, you say, like every girl in a small town, you had dreams. So, what kind of dreams that little girl would just like, I would, because when you ask people, they say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer or something. That's what most kids do. What would you think at that time that what you wanted to be when you grow up?
That's funny you ask that, because the other day I was having a session with my mentor, and we just were talking about what is our dream when we're little. And I remember I just wanted to be free. It- yeah,
Interesting.
I want freedom of thinking, freedom. I just want to be who I am. And it was so funny because I felt that, do I really, I used to ask, do I really belong here? All those crazy thoughts. And I said, if I could really do something, I just wanted to be free and do whatever I feel like doing. And but was always something related to helping people with no how can I say, it's not rules, but like
No
those,
judgments, no boundaries.
yeah, boundaries, but just normal boundaries, just like life brings you boundaries that it's safe to follow. But I mean, in the sense of really teach people how to be who they want to be, who they are. And that was my feeling. And then I said, okay, but how can I do that? And I remember I love to be around my father. He is a lover of herbs, and we always have like garden, and he everything, every time that we heard something that we felt or something, he went to his herbs and take something and help us, like heal from those things. And I love to do that. So I used to also do that, and I said, oh, this is should be so, like very nice to use this and learn how to use those things. So I learned a lot from him. And I think in that time my dreams was essentially to how I could do something to help, but
And
was
what did
not,
you
of course it's not clear, but that was my feeling of how to
and
help.
how did you pursue this? I mean, you wanted to be free, you wanted to help, but then you're young, and then how did you? organize those thoughts into making them a reality? Because you do help people now.
Yeah. Of course, when we were a kid, you're accessing, the real dream, because you don't have limitations. You don't have those society imposed things that you have to do. You were still free to access whatever dreams your life's purpose. But and then when you grow up, you need to make money. You need to, okay, I need to go to college, I need to make my money. And of course, you just put your dreams on a shelf for a while. You just forget about them because life goes on, and you have things to do. And yes, so I find myself going through uh, the sales the sales field in
Mhm.
technology. Like I said, I take my and I stayed there for a few years. But and then I started to do things that was related to holistic lifestyle things for myself. So at the doctors I went to was like naturopathic doctors, homeopathic doctors, like holistic therapists, to help myself. But never crossed my mind that this could be something that would turn into a career. Because I was doing well in my field that was I was working, and especially after I became widow with my daughter. So of course I had to focus on, I need to make money, so we need to survive, we need to to keep going. So then I just was using everything that I do now, then I'm going to tell about soon, as a help for myself, for my own life. Because after I lost my husband a few years later, I think it was 2 or 3 years later, I get into a deep depression, and I really needed help. And I found wonderful people that really helped me face this situation. So I had I usually call her my guru. She's a holistic therapist in Brazil. She's amazing. And she was more than a therapist for me. She was a friend. And along with her, I had my psychologist that helped me. I had a psychiatric that helped me. I mean, and also I became so into spirituality thing. And I wasn't yet a spiritist, but I started to go to a center and receive help from them. So I really look for many ways of help myself, because I don't want to stay in that stage. Like being in whoever is listening to us and have the experience having depression is something so difficult. Something that you don't want to stay in that stage. It's really painful. And then I have so much help in that situation. That was
and
good.
and then once you found yourself and you connect with a higher self, and then you said you found your husband now, Rodrigo, which we all love. He's a very, very special person. And then how did the transition between Brazil and the United States happen?
Yeah. When we met, I think was 3 years later, he was invited to come to be transferred to United States from his company. And for me, I was in that point in my career that I was so stressed, so much stress. I had no joy working in that field anymore. And then he said, "Do you want to go?" I said, "Sure, let's go." And I knew it would be such an amazing experience for my daughter. And then we said, okay, let's go for a few years. And then we had an experience for me in terms of my career. I thought, well, I can really study English, improve my skills in English, and maybe do some course or something, and then go back to Brazil and go back to my field, because I still thinking that was my career. And they said, yeah, let's go. So and then we moved. And we moved here 2007, beginning of 2007. And then I think was the beginning of 2008 when the crisis in the United States, the financial crisis came, and everything became so difficult, especially for immigrants to find a job. And then, and of course, I had almost no English in that time. I start right in the beginning when we moved in 2007. I started to study English because in my mind, I had like a plan. Okay, I'm going to study. I became fluent in English. I'll find some kind of job here, learn something, go back to Brazil. Well, plan? Yeah, good plan. Well, of course, the plan didn't work because I'm still here. Thank God it didn't work. So in the beginning of 2008, I felt that I could start looking for a job in my field, in my sales field, and was such a wow. When was so bad, so bad. I had a few interviews and I could not get a job. Because they have so many options, so many people are looking for jobs, so you have so many candidates for the same job, and I couldn't get any, and it was so frustrating, so frustrating. I felt so bad. I said, "Oh my God, what am I doing here?" I just like blew up my career. I'm nobody, nothing that I know. I can find a job here. And then I think the beginning of 2009, yeah. Then I decided do you know what? I think it was in the middle of 2008, if I record perfect clearly. I decided that I wanna maybe try something different. And then I started to see what could I do, and because I was going to the second time almost depression again because of culture shock and adapted to the new culture and being alone in a house because my husband went to work and my daughter went to school and I was just by myself. So it was another situation of trying to find myself in this new environment, new everything. I had no friends because we went to live in a town that there's no Brazilian living there. Even, and the internet wasn't that friendly like now when you just go and find people. Wasn't like that before. And I had no idea how to find people, and you know relate to American people is a little different. They have different ways of relate. So we didn't have friends really. And I felt so alone, like the whole day, and I said, what can I do? And then I started, reading and studying things that I said, I'm gonna do something that I enjoy doing. And I started studying all books about holistic life, spirituality, psychology, everything that I find interesting. And in that time I was still looking for ways to help myself, because in Brazil I had people that was helping me, but here I could not even find a therapist because if I find one, I have to talk in English, and I didn't feel comfortable, and I didn't know how to talk about emotions in another language. Can you
It's
imagine?
hard to express,
It's
right?
hard. It's hard. My English was, like I could communicate, but I'm still far from being able to really express feelings and emotions. So no way, no way of finding help in this way. So then I start to help myself, by those readings and everything. And then I find one course that I thought was interesting. I think was no massage therapist massage,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and they had this approach of holistic massage. And then I went to see, and I like it. So maybe I can do something. And then when I was about to apply for the course, I found out that I was pregnant for of Bella. And I said, well, the course is gonna wait because I really want to enjoy this time, my second pregnancy. And then I just put on hold everything that I want to do. And then when you came to my life when she was born, she was such a little baby. And
That's
then you
right.
came. Actually, no, you came before Bella, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You came
yeah,
for Gabby
yes,
first.
because you came to my house in Hamden. We met through a friend in common, and you came to visit me. But I think Bella was just born.
Oh
Because,
yeah, she was a little baby.
yeah, because you were still living in Meriden, remember?
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
was in Hamden, and that's how we connected. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. So this was 2009 or beginning 2010, something like that. So then I think was when she was about to turn 1 year old, I started to look for again how to do something for me, né? How to go back to do something, find something that I could enjoy. And I remember, well, I think I'm gonna keep studying those things that I like and maybe find some volunteer job that I could help people through these things and then I can practice. But I couldn't really find something in this field, like, even though there's a lot of volunteer thing, but it's still the language. And then I said, oh, no, I don't know if I can do this. And then 2011, and I was keep searching what I want to do. And then after she was born, I thought I don't really want to do this massage. I don't think it's not. I don't want to do something with my hands. I want to help you, but it's not exactly what I want to do. And I one day I was, the magazine Nutmeg magazine.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, these magazines they just distribute for free, and it's a holistic magazine. So they put everything about this field of holistic life. And I was just looking through the magazine, and I found a course that said master's degree in health and healing holistic. And I said, master's degree here, alternative therapy here in United States. I said, really? So well, let me check it out. And then I went to see, and I just fell in love with the course and had these 22 different modalities of alternative medicine. And I just said, wow, this is what I want to do. And then I went and I applied for the course. I was accepted, and I was so happy to do something that was more related to what I was looking for. And I just started taking the course, but I have no idea what I want to do after. I just felt that okay, has everything to do with what I like, but what I'm gonna become after that, I don't know. But I said that's okay. It's if it's my purpose, I'm gonna find out. And I just put myself into that course, and I really love it to do. It was 2 years of this course, and then I graduated in the beginning of 2014. And I said, okay, so how about now? And in that time, I really liked the lifestyle, the health lifestyle, how to eat right. So I was doing this for me, for my family, and studying about food and healthy eating, healthy habits. And I remember one night we had friends over, and I was talking to my friend, and she said, do you know, I feel like I'm a little overweight, and I just don't know what to do. And then I just sit with her, and I start giving her so many advices. I said, oh, why don't you try this and this? Oh, I just read this and all those help. And then she looked at me and said, wow, don't you why don't you really do this to help people with this
As a profession, right? Yeah.
as a profession? I said, uh, and then she said, well, if you want, I can be your guinea pig. You can try on me. I said, but I have no plan. I don't know even what to offer. And she said, well, offer whatever you have. I'll take it. It was my first experience. It was wonderful because I did two things in my master's degree. I did an internship in energy healing, and the second one was in preventive nutrition, how to use food as a healing process. And and I said, well, let's do this. And then I helped her, like change her habits, eating better, if I mean, just try what I had, and I fall in love with that.
I
And
remember
then
you used to go
I
cooking, right? You used to go cook for the for them, right? You used to go to the
yes,
houses and prepare and teach them how to prepare the meals, right?
exactly. I make some. I offer plans where I teach people to be more conscious about the nutrition value of the food, how to really have a good relationship with the food, how you can use food as a healing and as a friend, not the other way around. And besides that, I gave them recipes. I teach them how to cook, and I did this for, I started 2014, 2018. I One of my professors in my master's degree, he was a naturopathic doctor, and he was my doctor, my family doctor. And one day we were talking, then I said, why don't you have a health coach in your office? There's so much to do with you do here. And he said, well, maybe. And he said, you're talking about yourself? I said, yes, but I wasn't. I just, well, the opportunity is here. Why not?
Of course.
I said, yes, I'm talking about me. He said, well, let's talk about this. Well, he invited me, and I started working with him in his office, doing more. I mean, he refer his clients to me, his patients, whenever they need to change their lifestyle, their relationship with food. I came and helped them. This was 2018. And then 2019, I felt that, well, I like what I do, but I feel there's something missing. Every time I treat those clients, that we could touch more into the psychology part of changing habit. Wow, I felt so much joy doing it, and I felt that I could really help in that field. And then I said, well, maybe that's it. I need to put more of this psychological part. And then I went to do my life coaching training, and some other course that I still doing is in transpersonal psychology. And then when was the middle of 2019, the middle to the end, unfortunately, the doctor that I was working with, he passed away, and he was the core of the office. Once he was gone, his daughter said, I don't really want to keep the office, so she closed the facility. And I was already looking into the life coach more. I was looking more towards the coach life coaching field. And I was just, I had finished my training, and things just, one things just fall in place. And then I start really focus on life coaching. So in the middle of 2019, it's when I really put myself completely into this life coaching. And then I stopped doing the health part. I still do if people, that knows or had help, I had help before and came to me, and they ask, I still do something, but I don't, it's not my
It's not
focus
your main
anymore.
focus, right?
No, my main focus now is really life coaching and helping people transform their lives. And my main focus now is how I can help people find their own way to themselves to be who they are. And this is my dream when I was 7, 8 years old. So I feel that I really fulfilling my dream of helping people and being who they are. But we need we have work to do to be there, because everybody still carry so many limitations, so much, limited beliefs that we bring either from our childhood, our teenagehood, or even from past lives. So once we overcome all that things, yes, we getting more touch with who we are, and then we can live this life with more freedom.
And how do you work with people? What kind of what is your line of I mean, if I want to help, I'm going to contact you, and you're going to do an interview, and you're going to see what I need. How do you work? What is the process,
Mm-hmm.
within?
Yeah. When people come to me, I have this 15-minute free call consultation where usually the people tell me what they're looking for, and then I explain how the work is, the kind of therapy I use, the psychology that I work with, and then if whatever the person is looking for fit with what I offer, then we usually go for sessions. So, and then what I do with the client is I use three main psychology that we call modern psychology. So I use IFS, that it's the main one that I'm using today. It calls internal family system model. This is a model of psychology and therapy that was introduced in, I think, 1980s from a psychiatrist called Richard Schwartz. And he started to see in his office with his patients that people had so many voices that talked to them, and that we are capable of talking to those voices because we are much more than those voices. So then the model covers that everyone, we are made of two main things. One is our self energy with capital S. So in our self energy, we have everything we need. We are developed, we are complete with virtues, qualities, and everything that we need. But it's still kind of covered and needs some work to do in order for us to access our potential. Because who really rules our lives is the second part of when he called parts. And some other models they call subpersonalities, but he called parts. And who are those parts? Our part that are my part that is therapist, my part that is a spouse, my part that is mom, and all those parts that present me who I am for the world. But also, we also have many other parts that it's our critic, our judger, all those voices, that say you're not good enough, you are too much, you are too little, you are not adequate. Oh, you really want to do that? Oh, you're not capable of. All those voices that most of us have. And then the this method, what we do, we guide we guide the person to learn how to access those potentials, and from there deal with all those parts, even though those parts, the critique, the judger, and all those parts feels that they are doing bad job. They having good intention, they are just occupying the wrong roles. So, and then from the point of where you were capable of, you deal with your parts. But it's not something that comes from outside in, it's inside out. And this is transformational. When the person find out and really get this taste, the essence that who they are, boom. It's so beautiful to watch. You
It's like
know,
a reborn, right?
the person unfold. She just opened and said, really, I'm capable of doing this. Yes, you are. And it's so beautiful to see the results. I don't know if I answer your question, if I
No,
just
you did. You did. You did. It's because people are always curious. To say, oh, I don't want to do therapy. I don't need it. I mean, I'm gonna sit down and talk to somebody just that doesn't know me. Oh, I can't do this. So it's just so important that we all need somebody that is not really part of your family and that is trained to do that.
yeah,
And it's interesting that your approach is different. And it's not that it's different. It's I feel like it's deeper because you make us connect with our deeper self.
yeah.
You know, I'm your patient, I'm your client, so I know exactly how you work, and I think it's very interesting. And then, how long does treatment or how long does it you have a patient for how long or how long do they need usually?
Mhm. It's so interesting because these models, they are so effective because they are so profound, and usually depends on, the how can I say, the intensity of the problem, of course. Sometimes I have clients for 3 4 sessions, it's gone. Sometimes I have for longer, but I can say that I don't have clients more than a year. And when we really treat a lot of stuff, because each session usually, because we treat one thing at a time. And because this model, they don't see a person with some diagnosis. So, okay, you are diagnosed with depression. So the person, it's not the diagnose. The person is whole, treating something that it's, there's something disturbed or something that it's not well. So it's different. We're not looking for to study whatever the problem the person has, but a ways that she can access them herself to treat whatever is present now. But she's much bigger than that. So each person is much bigger than the problem that the person is facing in that moment. So the approach is different because of that. So we're not, okay, let's, find out what this problem is. And I'm not saying that the other approaches are incorrect or not effective. No, no, not at all. I'm just saying that this model can bring the results faster because of the way was created.
So you
And
just don't you don't just talk. There are exercises. There are different. Each session is different, right?
exactly. And like you said, it's sometimes people say, oh, I don't need help, I just can talk to a friend or my mom. Or of course this is helpful too, because involve love, and people that loves us, they want to help us. But the difference between you being in a environment of therapy or coaching, it's that the professional that is conducting this has techniques, has training, and know how to guide. Even though feels like just a conversation, there's many techniques that are involved. And the other thing that I think it's amazing about this model, that we call, this is a client-led process. So who the client lead the session. Why? Because we are just the guide. We are just the bridge. Because we give questions and the person question themselves. And then we go inside. We don't talk cognitively, we talk feelings. It's different. It's not just talking and just trying to find answers in your head. No, you really access feelings. And most of our feelings and the way we react, it's sitting in our subconscious. So and then this work, the way we do it, access how can I say, our subconscious. It's kind of expanded consciousness is another layer. It's not hypnosis or anything like that. It's completely conscient process, but you access a level in your subconscious that you usually, if you just try to think about it, you don't access. So this is so effective, and that's why it's faster,
And,
because sometimes in one session you have beginning, middle, and end of one situation. Depends on
so
how open the person is.
that's what I was going to ask. It really depends on how open, because you hear a lot of people coming with like a barrier. They come shield that they, first of all, they are afraid of talking about their feelings, and they are afraid about talking about themselves. And then all of a sudden they are put in a situation where they need to talk to themselves, and that's how you work with them. So it's very
Yes,
interesting.
yes, and that's why one the beginning we have there's a few exercises that we do that, because the end goal of this work is the person to have the emotional autonomy. So they became owner. There's ownership for their relationship with themselves. They're not going to depend on anything from outside. So this is the end goal. So, but everything needs a decision. And sometimes we say, I want help. I really want help. But in reality, don't. Because when you ask deep inside, do I really want to change? Do I really want to have a different life that I have today?
I
It's
am
another
ready.
level.
The question is, am I ready? Right?
Uh-huh. Because it's easy to say, yes, I want to change, but it's just words. There's no resonance inside. Why not? Because sometimes we still have like a game of stay in the stage we are. It's not conscious. You can say, oh, are you crazy? People like to suffer. It's not consciously, but there's some kind of gain stay in that process. Sometimes people stay, like in situations where they suffer years, decades, and they don't do anything to change. It's because they like to suffer? No, they feel that they want to change, but there's something that needs to be done. There's some shifts that need to be accessed, and there's a
What
decision.
What do you think it's a blockage? The biggest blockage of somebody wanting to change, for example.
I think the biggest one, I believe, is that we call like the second hand gain. There's something that being in that situation give me some kind of advantage. It's I'm saying that is sometimes is not even conscious. The person is not conscious about it. It's like when a person is in a very toxic relationship. The person knows this relationship is bad, but cannot get rid of it. For some reason, stay and stay, and every time something happens, make the person suffer so much, and the person feels miserable and decide, you know what, from now on, enough is enough. And then 1 week later, back together.
That's
So
right. So like,
why the
it's
person
Matt,
didn't
Matt,
change?
Matt is here saying that's it's comfortable to stay in a known state.
Exactly. Even though we know this is not the best for us, but it's comfortable because everything that makes with our comfort zone ask for some work, some effort. We need to do effort towards something that needs to be done to be changed. And it's not everybody's really open to put effort to something. But it's so incredible because when they put like just a toe in the water, oh, really? Is that feels like, that's how it feels like, and then they just jump. But this decision of put the first toe there is exactly the point when the clients come to me and we work with the decision. And it's so clear. Do you really want to change? And then if they say yes, the second question is, are you really open to do the effort needed? Because it's because when you say yes to those questions, seems simple, but it's not. You will really change. You're making the shifts of the keys inside your conscious. And then you're open and said, okay, I'm open. I really want to change. And then things start happening.
And then when do you usually discharge a patient? Because it's a process of growing. And then is it because they came with a problem or a situation, and then you feel like they overcame or they are feeling better towards the situation, or there is something else in the process that can tell you, now you're okay, you can live your life, and I am here if you need me, but you're discharged.
Mm-hmm. Because this process, like I said, is a client-led process. I work in two. I say that usually I work in two. How can I say, duas asas, in
Two wings, two
two
wings.
wings. Yeah, thank you. Two wings. One I call the ER, emergency room, and the other one I call the wellness spa. So the ER is when they come to me with the problem, and then we have to go inside, really deep inside, and see where this wound is, because they are having reactions here, they are having some kind of behavior here that is the effect of some wound that needs healing. So, and then we go together, we do this process, through this, the questions, and going deeper and deeper, talking to those voices that we just talked before, the critique and all those many, many, many voices. So we talk those parts until we get in a point where we call, in this model, we called exiles. There's parts of us that were exiled from our system because they were too dangerous to be inside. For example, imagine that in your childhood, you were doing something, just something silly, playing around or something, and a parent or a caregiver, come close to you and say, oh my gosh, you don't do anything right. You are doing this again? Who do you think you are? All those kind of things, so common, and parents do that, not because they are bad parents, because they have their, life full of stuff, and maybe doesn't really mean what they say. But the way the child received that is such in a painful way, and they put this inside. And those, it's kind of in our subconscious, is stored as a trauma. Even though it's simple to look at in this way, but it's kind of trauma. And what's going to cause when they grow up? I'm not good enough. I don't do anything right. Why trying? It's not gonna work. And then people come and say, I don't know what's going on in my life. My life is a mess. I start projects I don't finish. My relationship doesn't go well, and all those things that we know, you know. And then what we do in this session, we start to talk with this part that shows up as I don't know what's going on in my life. My life is a mess. Oh, yes, your life is a mess. Tell me more. Yes. And where do you experience this in your body or around you? I feel a pressure in my throat. Oh, let's talk about this. So let's ask this part in your throat. What's the importance of being in your life? And then we start the process. And then you go down and down and down and down until you get where? In that memory, in that child that was exiled in that moment. So the way she the trauma that was stored in their subconscious. Why was, in the first place, why the memory was stored there? Because in that moment, she needed a parent to help her deal with that pain. Imagine in the same situation when the parent came and said what they said, few minutes later said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was so stressed. You were not what I said. You were a great kid. You were so smart. I love you." And, and then you just repair immediately. But if the parents are not conscious about their actions, so the memory was storage. And then when we do this as an adult, this adult person, as remember that I said we have our self energy. So and then you in your self energy goes to that memory, and we kind of rescue that little child, that little Fernanda, and you be the parent she needed when she was 5, 6. And then you witness her pain, and you listen to her pain, and then she felt seen. It's the same thing that if happened the same time when she received that critique, you were doing now with that memory. So all this work happened in a session. It's so incredible when you say, but I talk to my memory as you talk to your parts. And then you do this, and then you reintegrate this part in your system. It's like, when we say to do the heal your inner child, is that work.
So usually what you're saying is there is always a reason back somewhere in a situation, whether when you were a child or something that has happened to your life that has impact into what you are today, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's leading to those behaviors and stuff.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Anything that we feel that we're facing nowadays that it's out of balance in our life, there's a reason. It's not random. There's something that needs to be reintegrated in the system. And
It's
this work is just, it's so incredible how we can do this work. So, yeah, I can
interesting.
talk about these hours because
For
I love
hours, I
it.
can tell. Yeah, Ismet is saying at most of the times parents do toxic actions because it's the way they were raised and don't even realize they are doing it. They need their own healing process.
I agree completely. And that I always say that it's not because you're a parent, you know everything. No, we don't, because we used to be child, now we are adult, and that's the process, and everybody's is learning. But I think when we can have this help, because it's so interesting when you start to looking as a parent, you look inside and you go and you take care of your own inner child. When you heal yourself, you heal the system, and everybody that was affected resonate, and somehow they also receive some, because the connection wasn't there anymore. You're not feeding that pain, and it's not connecting to your child anymore, even if your child already grew up. It's so incredible how effective are those.
But it is. I mean, I experienced this by being your client. When I start doing your sessions and talking to you, and then my mom today, she is loving her sessions. She thinks like, why haven't I started soon? She has a Brazilian therapist, and she's having like the best time of herself of her life, and especially knowing that she carried something in the past that probably has resonated on us, and then some of our behavior. So it's very interesting how things connect eventually.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So how people can access you? Can you just tell them your website, and how we can find ourselves with it, with your help?
Uh-huh. I have my website, I have my Instagram, I have Facebook, everything you can find at Silvana Rossini Coach.
I'm gonna write it down right here
Mm-hmm.
on the
And my
comments.
website is silvanarossini.com.
Okay, I just
And
put
I
it there.
also have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel. Then you can I share work there. I share reflections, meditations. So they're, yeah, materials to help us.
And how do we?
Unfortunately, it's still in Portuguese. Most of the work I share there. My website, everything is in English, but other sources is still in Portuguese.
So maybe you should consider doing something in English, right? Because you are
I
in the
mean,
United.
I do consultations. I in both. I have both kind of language. I can talk both. I'm just saying, like the materials that are available is still in Portuguese, but my website is in English. But I mean, I see clients both languages, and if you speak only English, please come. If you speak only Portuguese, please come. If you speak both, please come.
Very nice. And I have to say, you guys, that I am a much better person because of her. I finally started living in the present because there were no present for me. I was always in the past and in the future. And then because of her help, now I'm living in the present, which is making me a much better person, a much happier person. And I say, she has helped me a lot. And I tell her she will never discharge me because I'm going to always be consulting with her whenever I need. So if you guys are looking for some source of help, if you're looking for somebody to talk, just talk. Sometimes we just need somebody to talk. She's the right person. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. So
Thank
thank
you,
you
Fê.
so much. What I
Fê,
want to
Fê, I forgot to say, I don't know, we just have 1 hour. We're gonna close.
No. We have as long as you want.
Yeah, because I said that I work with two wings, and I went so deep in one wing, I forgot to tell about the other wing.
Please explain to
So
us.
the ER wing we talked about, and the second one when I says wellness, because you asked me how I discharge my clients. So when we did the ER, where we took care of the wounds and we did the proper healing, we start to do the work where we talk more than do those kind of work, because we start to build tools so the person can have their toolbox to help themselves when they need it. So it's developing their own way of being their own therapist. That's when I call the end goal is to have emotional autonomy. So you are owner. You have the ownership of your life, of your emotions. So then I teach them how to, like, we have so many conversation about that. So how you can be there for yourself, because you can. Remember, we are in essence, we have everything we need. We just need to learn how to access. But why we still need, to treat those wounds, we can't. I'm not saying we can't, because we still can. But it's harder because there's so much layers that fogs our vision inside. Then once you treat the most painful ones, you start to open up to really connect to who you really are. And then you can go for your life and maybe pass along and help people with that too.
Absolutely, yes. And
Yeah.
I like I said, I tell for myself. I've had the ER wing, and I'm in the process now of accessing myself, and I'm studying too because she showed me so many ways, and I'm so thankful and so grateful for your help. And
Mhm.
I want you to share with us a quote, a saying, a book, something that you would like to, that has helped to you, and then is your motto for life.
Mhm. I'm going to read because it's not, it's a song that I love. And this song, it's I feel that this song is my mantra, especially when I was going through my own transformation. And I felt this song describe the process of change. And this song is from the song called Stone by Stone by Buddy Comfort. So I don't know if you saw a movie. It's a very old movie called Sister Brother Sun Sister Moon. It's about St. Francis of Assisi, but the real one, one, the story that was channeled in the from my spirit, telling his story behind the scenes. And this song says like this: if you want your dream to be, build it slow and surely. Small beginnings, greater ends. Heartfelt work grows purely.
Perfect.
So stone by stone, you can make your dream come true,
It's
because
just
we
like
all
building
have
a
one.
house, right? It's just like building a house.
Mm-hmm.
You need one brick at a time. You need foundation. And without a foundation, without, you know, one day at a time and one brick at a time, one stone at a time, you're not going to reach anywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it has to be pure in your feelings, in your, everything that you do. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but if you do with all your heart, you're gonna get there, because it's aligned with your life's purpose. And
Absolutely.
transformation is just like that.
And there
Sometimes
is always
we
time to
decide
begin.
what.
And there is always time to begin something.
Exactly. Sometimes we want to change, we just don't know how to do it. And there's one last thing I want to give you, I want to offer. uh, I'm just introduced something last month. It's a group coaching. So I'm building groups of 7 people, where we explore the wing of wellness, because the other one has to be private because it's so deep work. But we can work in building the tools. So, and then I'm offering this, if you guys want to, build a group. The two things happen in this group that I think people like. Sometimes people are not ready to really have a private session yet, so they can start in a small group, sharing things, just that feel comfortable too. We explore themes and topics that is relevant to the moment, so one topic, so everybody work together in that topic. In terms of price, it's more affordable, because it's split between 7. Well, we just leaving the offer. If you guys are interested, just let me know. We can build a group, bring your friends, and it's a minimum of 3 and max of 7.
So we just have to go to your website and the information is there.
Or can just write to me, or call me, and my number is in everywhere, my contacts everywhere. If you go to my website, you can find ways to reach me. If you go to my Instagram, in my bio has a link that has many ways to contact me. But if you want to have my phone now, I can give. It's 860
Let me
9.
write it down here. Wait.
Uh-huh.
So it's a US number, guys. So
Yeah.
it's 1-860
9676744.
967
6744.
6744. Okay, perfect. Very nice.
And
So
everything is online, so no matter where you are, you can have me.
that's right. You know how many times I've called you and
Oh
so
my
many,
gosh.
yeah. Oh my God, really? Oh my God. But I
No, oh
really
my
mean,
gosh, key honor, nah? That's what I said.
I so thank you so much once again for sharing your experience, a little bit of your life, because like I always say, everyone has a story to tell, and then
Yeah.
what you are today is because of your life journey.
Yes.
So Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate. So, guys, this interview will be soon be uploaded to YouTube on my channel, but it's available here for you guys to listen on replay. So if you're listening on replay, just hashtag replay. If you have any questions, please do it. Sue is gonna take a look. She's gonna answer your questions. And next week we have a very nice friend of mine as well, which she is also Brazilian, but she lives in Florida. Malu Monjardim. She's has a very interesting story to tell you about of overcoming. She has reached almost 200 pounds at one time, and now she's just like an amazing person because she has found herself. So tune in next Sunday at 2:30 Eastern Time. We're going to talk to Malu. And Sil, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you. You are a blessing in my life, and I'm so thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being in my life.
I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see
I
you
love
soon.
you. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.